Hello, Rog fans. Today I'm Rog ranting about why is it always us? But first, I'd like to say I did notice some very interesting comments, and there was a comment by somebody called Dr. Zeus. Dr. Zeus, 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 Dr. Zeus. Oh, Dr. Zeus. Oh, would you help, Dr. Zeus? That made me laugh. That brought a smile to my face. What a great name, and what a great comment. Superb. But why is it always us? It's always our fault that the world's polluted, yeah? It's always our fault there's poverty. It's always our fault there's homelessness. It's always our fault there's wars. It's always our fault that the NHS and the health services are rubbish. It's always our fault that there's so much crime. Why is it always our fault? What's it got to do with us? And it's just amazing. And they always say, oh, it's your fault, you've got to pay more taxes because it's your fault. Why is it our fault? At what point is it our fault? Why is poverty our fault? Did we create a monetary system to enslave the mass population and keep them potentially in poverty and keep them in a position where nearly everybody's unhappy, where nobody can actually do anything really that they want to because they don't have money for it? We didn't create that. The people who control us did that. You know, the world, it's your fault the world's so polluted. No, it isn't. It's the businesses that provide the stuff that we're allowed to use. It's the businesses that create the most pollution. It's the businesses that avoid paying to have things recycled and stuff. It's the businesses that put loads and loads of poisons into rivers and streams and the sea and get away with it because the backhanders for the local councils and stuff. It's the businesses that create the things that create the pollution. It's not us. We're just the poor suckers at the bottom who have to use it, and we have no choice. It's the businesses whose fault that is. That's what I think. That's what I think. And because there's homelessness, that's your fault. It's not my fault. If we didn't have a monetary system that was designed to be oppressive and was actually based on a currency that was worthless, people wouldn't need to have money to get a home. You don't see that in nature. How many times have you seen an orangutan going, oh dear, I'd like to make a nest in that tree, but I haven't got enough money to buy a tree, have I? It's funny that we're the only creatures in nature that have a monetary system, that has a health service. Now that's got to ring some alarm bells. And look how happy we're not. Oh, it's your fault that the NHS is overworked. Funny, I thought it was the government and the people who own and work the NHS who were embezzling the money and not giving it to the people at the bottom to provide adequate training and facilities. Don't see what that's got to do with me. I especially consider the fact that the Nightingale hospitals, which they made with our money here in the UK, for I've got to find a thing for that so I don't get banned. Where's the thing for that? Yeah. For this scenario, to cover that, have never been used, and I learnt something the other day on the sly from somebody in the old government that some of the hospitals are open, but they have no medical staff at all. They only have administrators and managers. Yeah, incredible. What a scam. And it's our fault. It's our fault. Really? How is that? How is this culture of embezzlement of public money, of purposeful, willful, accepted and supported and condoned mismanagement? How is that our fault? Yeah? It's ridiculous. And I just think it's amazing. They keep saying it's always our fault for what they're doing. It's not. It's their fault. It's their fault the world's polluted. It's their fault there's poverty. It's their fault. It's their fault that we've got more food banks than practically supermarkets. It's their fault that we've got homelessness. It's their fault that we have a poverty at all. Poverty shouldn't exist in a civilised society. It simply shouldn't exist. There's no need for it. It's inhumane. We don't create that. We're the slaves who sit underneath these psychopathic, unempathic morons who just leech off us. They're just parasites off the public purse, and we don't need them. And the thing is, they keep saying it's us. Then they're going to say, oh, it's your fault. It's your fault that the government's had to spend millions and millions, billions of pounds on illegal furlough, suspending people without pay when they've done nothing wrong, which is what basically it is. Which actually, that's something else I can go into. There's another video coming about that, about the about actual real facts, genuine facts, which you can research to do with this legislation, which is quite an eye-opener. I learned about it the other day. I double-checked it, I cross-referenced it, and I found somebody very high up in legal circles who completely confirmed it, and it is quite stunning. But again, it'll be our fault. It's our fault that the government illegally imprisoned people in their homes, contrary to Section 13 of the Human Rights Act, which states that every citizen shall be innocent until proven guilty. That's our fault, obviously. It's our fault there's national debt, because they keep giving themselves pay rise and increasing the stakeholder pensions every year, regardless of how the economy's doing. Of course that's our fault, isn't it? It's a joke. And it just annoys me that these scum keep saying it's our fault for the world they've created for us to live in. Unbelievable. There was a point where this could have become an R-rated video, but we thought, no, that's not a good plan. We'll just try and be a little bit more articulate and clever. Well, no, that didn't work, but try and be clever. So what do you think? Do you really think that when the powers that control us say it's your fault that the world's polluted, it's your fault that we have to have recycling, it's your fault for this, it's your fault for that, it's your fault for national debt, it's your fault for that, it's your fault that the Americans have to go under their wonderful favourite American military thing of this, to go and bomb brown people in the Arab states because for some reason they can't stand them, even though they've done nothing wrong. They're just amazing. Yet the American people don't want that. But of course it's the American people's fault that the Americans have got to go over, practice their famous, the American government's favourite thing, it seems to be an institutionalised version of this, and go and bomb brown people. It's unbelievable, it's sick, it's twisted, it's unnecessary, it's inhumane. And why are we even putting up with it? And that's another question. Why are we so dumb that we allow these people to do this? I mean, in this country, there's 72 odd million people. The people who enslave us, because they're supposed to represent us, but they don't, give us our false democracy, are less than about 100,000 people. I mean, have we, as a species, have we become so stupid that we're nothing more than mindless slaves to psychopathic oppressors, and we're happy to take it? Is it always us? As usual, comments down below, because I like the comments. And don't forget, this is not reality. In choo-choo.